Welcome to the Childcare Genius podcast, the world's leading authority on childcare marketing, mindset, expansion, and profitability. Each episode will feature interviews with the brightest minds in the childcare industry to guide you into becoming a smarter business leader. Our hosts have opened 10 schools while raising 5 children. They are certified business coaches and are the top-selling childcare business book authors of all time. This episode is sponsored by Childcare Genius Marketing. Let Childcare Genius Marketing help you get fully enrolled and fully staffed. Visit childcaregenius.com for more details. Let's welcome to the Childcare Genius podcast our hosts, Brian and Carol Duprey.
Welcome to the Childcare Genius podcast.
We're your hosts, Brian and Carol Duprey.
Hello, everybody. Hope everybody's having a great week. We know we're really excited to be here today. We're going to talk a little bit about struggles. Were you struggling in your childcare business? Everybody struggles, right? Yeah, we struggle, and just like everybody else, but it's how you handle the struggles that make the difference. We're going to give you some tools today to help you with some common areas that you might be struggling in. First one we're going to talk a little bit about is enrollment struggles. All right, I've never had anybody call me say, Brian, just got too many kids. I got too many kids. My wait list is too long. I don't know what to do. You know, this is a problem. What do I do? Right. So most of the time, it's a struggle is a lack of enrollment. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So we have a tool for you. And so if you are struggling with enrollment, you want to be the best tour giver you could possibly be. And when enrollment is down and people are fighting for childcare spots, you know, in some markets right now, there are just too many childcare spots. So you're all fighting to get those same kids. In some spots, in some markets right now, it's doing really well. And like in our market, we're really well because we just got done with a record year, but we had 5 competitors go out, close their doors this year. And they were struggling and just didn't make it. So it was, worked out well for us. But your market, you might not have those people who have closed yet. I think they will. Eventually, the market will self-correct. But you need to know everything you can to get the most enrollment. So the book we wrote is called The Art of the Tour. And it is a really good book. We've talked about it in previous podcast episodes. But if you're struggling with enrollment, make sure you get that, read that, and make sure your directors know how to close a tour.
Or your tour giver.
Or your tour giver.
It's not the director.
Yeah, true. The director is not always the best tour giver. You want a tour giver that knows how to sell. Period. It's sales. It's 101. Sales 101.
Somebody who's happy and smiling and positive.
Yeah, happy, smiling, positive. They can sell. They can convert it. It's not afraid to pick up a phone and call somebody. You know, I had a director once who just afraid to call somebody the next day. And you can't be a director if you're afraid to call them the next day. So if you could just get 10% more tour conversions, that is hundreds of thousands of dollars a year and hundreds of thousands of dollars in lifetime customer value to your business. So you want to do everything you can to try to increase tour conversions. So the Art of the Tour, highly recommend that. The second area is finance. Most of the time, people are coming into the childcare business. They're former teachers. They're heart-centered. You know, they just want to make a difference. Maybe they were a director who bought the school. Maybe you were a lawyer and you wanted to open a childcare center. We've had that. We've had doctors open childcare center. Doesn't mean you're a master of finances. You know, when we first started out, Carol and I are high school educated military people. And we didn't know about the financial side of childcare. We had to learn that the hard way. And you learn that through mistakes. But I also went to school and educated myself. I took business classes after we started a childcare center. I've got books on spreadsheets and profit and loss statements. I've read books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So I started learning concepts. How did you learn finance? Carol's the one who taught me QuickBooks.
I learned mostly by doing. I'm a hands-on person. So like QuickBooks, I had to do things and figure out how they worked and there's a lot of QuickBooks training out there, and also tax. I went to tax classes.
Yeah. I sent Carol to classes so she could learn how to pay less tax, taught by IRS auditors. And so those little investments we made in our business and the knowledge we got helped save us a boatload of taxes. Now we know finances inside now. We work with our banker. We have to give them financial statements a lot. And we've got a huge business because of it, and we know finance inside out.
Because we struggled early on with finances a lot. So we learned to live below our means, which made a big difference.
Yeah, good point. So we were always good on living below means, like Carol said, and saving and paying down debt. We've always been big about living as low in
We
debt.
never had any debt for our business ever.
No, we've never borrowed on the business side. Our daycare has never borrowed a
And
penny.
we always had a safety net in case something happened and we weren't getting our state funding or something like that.
Yeah, there's some people that I've seen are in trouble. They're worried about state funding coming in. But if you would listen to us for the last 2 years about living below your means, having a good safety net, you shouldn't be worried at all. I could live without state subsidy for probably a year.
Because
we're
you
half
don't get the
subsidy.
money.
You still get the
It's
money.
just,
It's gonna come.
you'll get it later.
You just have to have the safety net. And I was teach you got to have 6 months worth of expenses. That includes payroll and everything put away. That if you didn't get another penny in, you could pay your bills for 6 months. Once you have that, you're in good financial shape. Now, you don't have to have it in cash. You can have it in a home equity line of credit, somewhere where you can go in an emergency. That if the state funding says we're not going to pay you for 3 months, we'll pay you at the end. Okay, no problem. Like it shouldn't even be a blip. All these people I see panicking now because they're in financial trouble to begin with. And that's where the panic sets in. So again, if you've listened to us for the last couple of years, we've been preaching this stuff. And hopefully you followed it. You've got a little bit of a safety net. You've living below your means. And you are actually sitting pretty right now. Because there's going to be some centers that, say, I want out of this. I'm getting tired. And those are the ones that are ripe for the taking. And you probably get them at a really good price. I remember when a 2008 recession hit, Carol and I went out and bought 3 schools. We took 3 competitors and bought them out.
Yeah.
So we were able to expand our market really heavily at that point and get rid of really decent competitors.
They actually called us. If you're well known in the community and you have a good program, they'll call you.
Yeah, that'll work too.
I mean, you can't count on that.
No.
You got to go look for them too. But
so finances are very important. Learn what a profit loss statement is, balance sheet, have a personal financial statement, know where every penny is you have, and you're going to be in good shape. So the next one is leadership. A lot of people struggle with leading teams. And the reason being is childcare owners traditionally are former teachers for the most part. They're heart-centered, teacher side, or educators, or something that has to do with they want to educate children, right?
Yeah.
Or they're a spouse of somebody who's a professional, they have some money, and like they've always wanted that dream. But yet nobody ever taught you how to lead people. Carol and I are military, so we taught leadership inside the Navy, which we both were. So they've spent a lot of money training us to lead people. That's all military is. You're leading people, right? But you're not taught that in high school. You're not taught that in college. And this is why you struggle with culture a lot of time, because you don't know how to lead people and you make mistakes. Sometimes lots of mistakes. And, being a boss instead of a leader.
Trying to be their friend instead of their leader.
That's another huge mistake.
Not liking confrontation.
Oh, yeah, being afraid. Not delegating, doing everything yourself. And there's a lot of leadership mistakes you made. So my recommendation is to read books. Anything by John Maxwell is fantastic. There's a lot of leadership books out there. Just go to Amazon. You should be reading a leadership book a month until you're really confident. And if you have a leadership team in your center, make sure they're reading leadership books because they're in the same boat as you. Make sure they know what to do.
I think one of the biggest things you can do wrong in leadership is we've always said silence is acceptance. If somebody does something and you don't say anything to them, you just think it'll get better. In their mind, you're accepting what they did.
Agreed. All right. So the next one is systems. What kind of systems do you have in place in your business? And what struggles do you have with your systems? Now, you need to, if you're ever going to want a second school, you're going to need to have certain systems in place, right? Because you can't be in 2 places at one time. So you got to have operational systems. So that's one of the struggles I see is the team not having any clear direction, no operations manual, no standardized system of doing things, and center will never expand unless you have systems. We have some great systems at our centers, and we teach in our Child Care Genius University. We teach about having certain systems. We help people develop.
And the answer isn't always to go out and get all these new products, because if you get products you think are going to do the systems for you and you don't use them properly, they do you absolutely no good.
Absolutely. So make sure you have good systems in place that are duplicatable. Then once you have the system in place, then you open a new location and you just duplicate it. There's a reason every McDonald's has a Big Mac in the world, because that's a system. And they cook it the same way in every restaurant. That's a system. Same thing with you in your childcare centers. You're going to want a system that everybody follows that is the same. A kid gets a fever, 101.3, they go home. That's the system. Like there's no gray area. Well, it could be 101 some days, 103. No, it's a standardized system based on licensing and based on sometimes common sense. All right, so the next one is diversification. This is an area of struggle that I see a lot of owners do, is like they don't create additional revenue streams, or they're not thinking about the future, or they're set with one location and they never want to think about expansion. All right, and that's okay. If you only ever want one, that's fantastic. But just know what your limits are. Your income is going to be limited.
But also that's okay, but what if something happens to that one location?
Good point. We had a roof torn off from a windstorm one time at our center. And what if that happened to you? We had multiple schools at the time. We could shift some kids around. But we've had clients with floods. We have clients with tornadoes. We have clients with fires. And if you have one school, you're kind of out of luck when that happens. Yeah, there's insurance kicks in. As we found out with a roof, it took almost a year to get a dime out of the insurance company with that thing. So could you survive without any payment for a year before you get business interruption payments? So keep those things in mind. Diversification helps with that. And also diversifying into other revenue streams. And there's several out there we've talked about in other conferences, but for Carol and I, real estate has been the area where we have diversified too. So we have another income stream coming in. We don't rely 100% on childcare. And that's been huge for us.
Yes, we enjoy it.
Carol likes real estate.
I do.
Carol's a licensed real estate agent, so we really like it. Now that we get deals
without commission,
without paying somebody else, because we buy millions of dollars worth of properties a year, and we're paying commissions by hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'm like, Carol, you could pocket this. So that's why Carol became a licensed agent. But anyway, diversification. You could rent out your building on a Saturday or Sunday when you're not there. That's an additional revenue stream. Yeah. We have one client that has birthday parties in their school and they're inside their gym. So find a way to diversify a little bit, have extra revenue coming in. We have some people that do 24-hour care. So they're making money at night when they're sleeping. I don't really like that idea, because when the center sleeps, when the center closes, I tend to be a little more peaceful. I'm sure you're the same way.
We actually used to do later care till like 10 o'clock, and our teacher that was there fell asleep.
Yeah, sleep.
So that's always something that could happen.
We don't do that anymore.
We don't do it.
All right. So another struggle right now that people are dealing with is just tired, overworked. I have seen so many owners come to me in the last few weeks saying, Brian, I'm about done. I can't handle anymore. And it has a lot to do with the struggles we're talking about today in general. Like everything's hitting you all at once. Finance, enrollment, leadership, systems, diversification. You're tired. You have struggle with in your relationships, and culture is poor. It's the perfect storm right now. And I say just, when you reach the end of your rope, tie a knot in it. Hold on. Keep following us. Come to our Child Care Genius Legacy Conference in Vegas, April 13, 14, 15. Hang around some other child care owners. Give us another chance. Give us a chance to make you fall in love with childcare again. Because we've had people ready to quit, come to one of our conferences, and they think it was like they invented childcare when they left, and have just killed it since. We had somebody ready to sell, just totally at the end of the rope. And she's added 2 locations and really just tripled her income her revenues and her profitability is through the roof ever since then. And she was this close to selling before she met us in the Child Care Genius University. So, like I said, just hold on, get around us, see how we can do to help. Get on a free coaching call. Go to childcaregenius.com right now. Under the coaching tab, I've got a coach that will do complimentary coaching calls with somebody. They have to be owners and the current owners. And it has to be somebody who hasn't done a call in the last 6 months. But if that's you're struggling in any area that we're talking about here, Coach Faith does a wonderful job. She owns multiple schools, and she will help you out. If we can help get you out of that overwhelm and the overworked and being tired and start falling in love with the childcare business again, that's what we're here for. The next area of struggle that we're noticing is partnership struggles. Dealing with a spouse or a business partner that you're not on the same page with. Why is this a problem?
Because if you're not on the same page, things can be missed, or toes can be stepped on, and then you get into arguments, especially if it's a spouse, because then you have to live with that person. If it's just a partner, you can go home and they can go home.
So you've had both.
You've
had a partner and you have me.
Yes.
I'm much more fun, right?
Most of the time.
Anyway, so partnership, make sure you have lanes.
Yeah.
What are partnership lanes?
Partnership lanes are where each person has to have their specific things that they're in charge of, like finances, enrollment, the staffing. I can't think of them all off the top of my head, but if Brian's lane is finance, I should not go into the finance lane without talking to him about it, because then it messes up everything and he can get upset if I mess up part of the finances, or if I did something that was not the way he wanted it done. And if he goes and talks to one of my teachers where the staffing is in his lane, I can get upset with him.
Right. And picture this like on a highway. If you're doing busy traffic and you venture into the next lane, what's going to happen? You're going to crash. I can tell you, Carol and I've crashed many times over the years. We don't crash that much anymore. But boy, when we do, it used to get messy, right? Like an 18-car pileup, messy. But we need to have those lanes. So if you do have a partner or a business partner or a spouse that works in the childcare business with you, make sure you both know what each one of you is responsible for, and don't try to cross the lanes. It's like in Ghostbusters. Don't cross the streams.
Yeah.
Don't cross the lanes. All right. And the last thing is culture. We have some tools on our website. We have a culture webinar that I'd recommend going to. So I'm not going to spend too much time on culture, because Cindy Alexander, my partner, she has done an amazing webinar. You go to childcaregenius.com. Under the resources tab, there is a webinar that you can get for free on culture. And that's what I'd highly recommend you go into. And actually, we have webinars in our database, in our resources area of our website, in most of the topics that I've covered today that are free webinars. So I would highly recommend plug in, go get some of those free tools. But you know what? You might just want to get on a call and say, listen, I want to talk to a live human being, maybe not look at a webinar, because maybe I have some questions to ask. So go to our website again at childcaregenius.com. There's a tab at the bottom called coaching. So hit that coaching tab and you'll see another tab that says free coaching call. We would love to talk to you. We would love to change your life. We want to get you loving childcare again, having fun, getting back to that having fun, and get you to you're having very little struggle in your business. If we could do that, you know what? We've done our job. That would make us happy, because there was nobody there to help us when we were struggling.
Right.
And we promised when we started working together that we'd be a resource so other people didn't have to struggle like we did. So we'll conclude this episode of the Childcare Genius podcast. Thank you again for sharing some of your time with us.
And don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you won't miss a future episode of the Childcare Genius podcast. And we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Childcare Genius podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please do us a favor and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a future episode. Don't forget to visit our website at childcaregenius.com to see a list of services we offer to help grow your childcare business. Until next time, thank you for being a part of the Childcare Genius community.